Hello, everybody. JoeHart here, person with disabilities, primarily invisible disabilities. Hi, Sifa. How are you? I hope all is well, or as best as can be expected. I think about you often, every day at least. I hope I hope it yay. So this is. I don't really know what I'm doing this week, but I think I'm expanding and exploring. And anyway, this is going to be a different stream than what I normally do, which I don't know if I have a norm or a pattern or anything. But I'm going to try to stay on the topic as much as possible. Oh, thank you. Yeah, you're welcome, Sifa. I could never specifically relate. I've got some vaguely similar situations, but nothing like, so, ooh, I'm excited. Well, elections are, they can be so combative. And, I try to cover everything neutrally, and I think I do pretty well. And, but I'm also very opinionated, and I'll like I said, I love agenda-free TV, but if I did what he did, I would have an agenda. Or there's so many words that I don't really like and I shy away from, and I'm not a big fan of agenda. It's like, well, everybody's got their own brain, they've got their own opinions, they got their own facts, they got their own, whatever. So they would, but anyway, people would know how I feel. So people would probably accuse me of having agendas. So anyway, okay. So this is on the fly. I woke up this morning and I was trying to go through some of my timers and stuff. And now why am I on that page? That's not where I want to be. Okay, let me scroll to where it's not showing to you. Woo. Okay, so all right, I'm back. Okay, let's get rid of the banners. Poof, poof, oh, poof. And back to comments. Oh, I'm excited. So anyway, I don't know what so I'm going to just go through. Hello to everybody. Looks like everybody's on YouTube. JoeHart, thank you for being here. I'm sure one of them is Lyndon Not Baines. Hello to Lyndon Not Baines. I appreciate the support, and I know you're silent and you don't make comments, but I appreciate you being here, Lyndon Not Baines. So Tracy. Hey, Tracy and Sifa. Hey, Tracy, how are you? So, anyway, I have questions, and then I can't hold back, and then I ask the question. And anyway, I notice your name is AKA Tracy now. I don't know if you removed, I asked you what you preferred being called, and you said Tracy, but you'll respond to either. But I noticed you took out the TC. So anyway, I think it's good that people, I think it's good. I like to call people what they want to be called. And I think it's okay for people to say what they want to be called. So anyway, that's it. So, okay, let me get it on screen. And why the hell do they have that? There's a huge splotch. I don't get that. Okay. So, how's your memory of names? How's your memory of names is amazing. Well, it's like there are some things that my memory does pretty well with. Joe, your memory of names is amazing. And there are things like I usually say hello to everybody, and and call them by the first word of their name, and tons of people say, "Oh no, I know it says Fred, but please call me Sam. I like to be called Sam." And I go, well, "I'll try. You might have to remind me every day, but I see your name tag. I see, change your name on, your every account has a handle and a name roughly." And so the handle can't be changed mostly, and the name can. And so I'm like, if you want to be called Sam, change it to Sam. So anyway, I always remember, I generally remember what's written, what's their name and what's different, so when I first got onto YouTube Live, there were people that they would have 3 different names of the same account, anyway, I always looked at that. So anyway, I'm not saying, so anyway, yeah, I've noticed over time you really retain names and things people say really well. Well, thanks. It depends. Over time, meaning the time I've been around getting to know you. Right. Yeah. So it's good to have you. You probably have a photographic memory. I do not. I do have a very poor memory, and I don't use that as an excuse. That is really true. And I did a lot of hallucinogenic drugs, and my synapses are permanently broken. And many other things, alcohol, there's a bunch of damage to my brain and stuff. So, but anyway, anyway, that's what I notice. I like to call people what they want to be called. And whenever they throw another name out, I'm like, well, I'm going to call you what your name says, because that's what I refer to. So I look at it when I talk to people. Like at the end of anyway, I could talk forever about that. Okay, so I guess there is a little history with me. I think it's really cool. Well, thanks, Sifa. I appreciate it. I bet you're pretty good at that stuff too. Well, you've got a sweet little community. But anyway, okay, so there is a little history to me and politics, and it's my stream, so I can talk about whatever I want, but I think the way I handle things are pretty apolitical, and I'm sure everybody will be like, what the hell are you talking about? It's as political as you can get, but I think it's really apolitical. I try to be neutral. I try to be a media person. I try to, but my opinion is there, of course. So, and again, I'm going to tell this story as an apolitical story. That's what I think it is. I'm sure you'll disagree. But in 2016, things were pretty interesting in the United States. And Trump had won, and everybody's like, he's not my president and all that stuff. And I would go, it's all of our president. We voted him in. There may be a problem that he won, but he won. That's the rules. You don't have to have the most votes. And, he won by the system that was set up. So I didn't do exceptionally well from 2016 to 2020. But when 2020 came around, I was in, Florida covering motorsports. And, when COVID started, the beginning of COVID, I was in Florida. It was, whatever that was, February or March, I think it was February. And there was 5 motorsports events coming up that weekend. And they were all in Florida. And I was like, golly, which one am I going to drive to? And which one am I going to cover? And, I'm OCD. I want to do all of them. So I'm like, I wonder if I can do this on Thursday and this one on Friday and that one on Saturday and that one on Sunday. So, and it's Tuesday and it's still early in the week. So I was like, okay, where am I going to go? So I started planning it, and I don't know the exact dates, but it was early in that week. So usually I see what's going on in the week on Monday, and then Tuesday I decide what I'm going to do, and then Wednesday I'm usually well on the road toward where I'm going. But I was already in Florida, so I didn't have to travel very far. So you know, it was all of them: NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, NHRA, and I forget who the fifth one was. Probably GT World Championship America, and they all happen to be in Florida, which Florida's huge for motorsports, but they all happen to be that weekend. So I'm like, so anyway, you know, Tuesday night happened, Wednesday morning happened, one of the 5 events canceled. And I'm like, that's strange. And they're talking about this COVID. I wonder what's going on. So Wednesday afternoon comes, a second event canceled. And I'm like, well, that's still 3 more. There's still 3 more events I can go to. That's no problem. And then, you know, whatever day it was, I mean, it was getting later in the week, but I think Thursday, the 3rd event canceled. And I'm like, what's going on here? What is this COVID stuff? And why, you know, holy moly. So, and as you can guess, the 4th and 5th canceled. None of them had any of that event that weekend. And that's where it started. That's when everything started shutting down. Everything, baseball, basketball, football, everything started shutting down. So I was like, there's a 2020 presidential election, and there's you know, caucuses and primaries from February through November, and then the, you know, so you know, I said, why I'm not doing motorsports, and I'm in Florida. So I decided to drive to Iowa, which was very far, to go to the caucuses, you know, right then, you know, so that was the start of it. So in 2020, which essentially was everybody's worst year, not really, but kind of everybody's worst year. I mean, it's different for everybody, but a lot of people, that was their worst year. Anyway, for me, for 2020, I was on the road 235 days. That's almost 8 months. 235 days on the road, in my car, sleeping in my car with my cat, eating food stamps. I don't buy hot food. I don't go to McDonald's and buy the dollar menu. I buy food stamps. I have people that notice that I look kind of, you know, not homeless, but I look, you know, and they go, here, can I buy you a McDonald's meal? And I will gladly and freely, and I will, you know, yes, I'll take handouts for sure. So anyway, I hit toward Iowa, and it was phenomenal. But anyway, I don't want to talk about Iowa unless people want to hear more about it. But I did. I was on the road for 2020. I was on the road for 235 days. I went to, and I'm OCD, so I wanted to go to every single caucus and primary, and that's how they're described on the calendar. But little did I know that it's really, I think it was 2 states, or maybe 3 states, or maybe 4 states, but I think it was 2 states that did caucuses, and the rest did primaries. I'm like, shit, they should just call them primaries and put a little asterisk before it and say, oh yeah, we do caucuses too. But the first event happens to be Iowa, and they do caucuses. So I went out there, you know, it's all general, but I went out, I left Florida, went to Iowa. I think I was a week and a half. I was going to be, anyway, I was trying to figure out when to go. And, you know, I got the date of the caucuses, and then I think that was like in, you know, 3 weeks or 2.5 weeks or whatever. And then CNN was going to do a debate, a live debate in Iowa. And I'm like, okay, well, I want to go to that. And so that was a few days before. So anyway, I went to Iowa. It's a blur, but I went to Iowa 2.5 weeks before the caucus, and I was late. Iowa is the most phenomenal thing in the world. If anybody has this much interest in politics, and I mean this much interest, if you have the slightest bit of interest in politics, Iowa is the coolest effing thing in the world. Now, it was my first time, so that made it ultra cool. And it was 2020, so something was really going on. You know, I was like, we can't repeat 2016. So anyway, when I hit the road, I was a media person, and I came up with my own bullets, and I interviewed people, and I had 3 bullets, but I just asked those, and they didn't have to address the bullets. They could talk about something else. They could go on their own tangent. They could talk about anything but they want. But the 3 bullets, if I remember them correctly, is what happened in 2016, how did it happen, and is it going to happen again? That was the 3 bullets. Are we going to repeat 2016 in 2020? And I was upset, and you know, I wouldn't walk around and say, that's not my president. Our system elected that president. So that's all of our president. So I look at the system and I'm like, that is effed up. That better not be repeated. Okay, so that's not so neutral. But anyway, I'm trying to talk about this neutrally. So anyway, anyway, I went to Iowa 2.5 weeks early, and I was late. I could have gotten there 2 weeks more than that early. So this time in 2024 in February, I might try to go a whole month early if I go. I don't know if I'm going to do this, but I hope I do. 2024 doesn't have the same feel that 2020 had. 2020 was an emergency for our country, as far as I could tell. 2024 looks like it's already it could be, but not like 2020. So, or it could be. So anyway, I get to Iowa, and they still do newspapers. Not many people in the world do newspapers anymore, but they do. The Des Moines Register, you can buy the newspaper, or you can get online and stuff. And every day you can buy the newspaper, and every single day, including Sunday and Saturday, every single day for all 4 of those weeks leading up to the caucus, there was 8 to 10 to 12 events of all the candidates. And if you didn't eat, and some of these events had food, so if you didn't eat, you could go breakfast, between lunch, between dinner, post dinner. You could go to events all day long, every single day, forever and ever and ever. Now, this is where my memory gets a little shady, but I'm pretty sure I'm accurate about this. But when I got to Iowa, which was the first state, there was, and I did not believe this, and I did not know it was true, and it was true. And I now have trouble believing it again. But when you get to Iowa, which is the first state, so no one's lost yet. So you get to the first state. There were 36 candidates for, guess which party? Republican. Had 36 candidates. Why? Trump was going to win for sure as the candidate, for sure. So why would they have 36? But they did. And Democrat had 35. I might be wrong. I think it came up to 75. 36, 37, and 38. 75. Okay, yeah. Okay, it was 37 and 38. And it added up to 75. So there were 75 candidates doing events all over the place in Iowa for those 4 weeks. So I ended up interviewing every single person, but guess who? Trump. And that wasn't my choice. I would have gladly interviewed him, gladly. But, you know, I'm a quirky, idiosyncratic person with disabilities, primarily invisible disabilities. I travel with my white beard and my goofy hat, my shorts and my socks, and I have my cat, and I live stream. So people don't know that actually, all of that can work to my advantage, because when you show up to all the other candidate events, they're like, what? Your media? Okay. And I was, and I am. So I would go to these events. So anyway, it was phenomenal. Is anybody out there? I'm still just yapping and yapping. So anyway, so I did that 2.5 weeks. And then, you know, I was trying to fundraise, as always, for gas, as always. And I really wanted to go to all 50 states. Well, of course, I'm not going to go to Alaska. And of course, I'm not going to Hawaii. And of course, I'm probably not going to California and Washington and Oregon. And, I'm not going to get, oh, good. Thanks, Sif. I'm sorry I have to keep asking that question. So I wanted to go to all 50 states. That, of course, did not happen. But I did go to, hey, Tracy, cool, thanks. I'm sorry that I do that. I get antsy. And so thanks for checking in. And then so I some about Iowa, I think. Anyway, it gets me pretty jacked up, as you can tell, and I forgot the topic, so it will come to me in a second or so. But if I say enough, it comes back to me usually. Anyway, I did not go to 50 states. I went to 31 states. And I interviewed all those 74 people minus Trump. And it changes quickly. So anyway, I'm from Vermont. And the second state is New Hampshire, right next to my state. So I drove all the way out to Iowa from Florida. And then the second state was going to be New Hampshire. And I'm like, I can't. And the third state was Nevada. I think Nevada. And so I was like, I better stay on that side of the country and skip New Hampshire and blah, 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 blah. And I tried to do all this stuff. And anyway, it started off a little bleak. I was like, I'm not going to many states. What the hell? So anyway, that's where I got the bug. And that's for that year. And I've always tracked motorsports, but I didn't really do anything on motorsports that entire year. It was all about what happened 2016, how did it happen, and is it going to happen again? That was that's all I focused on. So so that was 2020. And then when what happened in 2020 happened, then I was exhausted and I was like, oh, whew, okay, I can put that to the side. And, of course, with politics, elections, I try to be apolitical. I know it's really political, but I try to be apolitical. But elections go on forever. Most Tuesdays, 52 Tuesdays a year, there is usually an election somewhere in the country, including the territories. But 52 Tuesdays a year, there's usually an election. So I'm like, oh my goodness, what is that? So I found this, the topic of my stream here is the ballotpedia.org, and they have an elections calendar. So I was printing that up just about weekly because, I printed it up now and there's a ton of events on particular days. So I couldn't print up too many dates, but, it gets updated pretty often. The more, like all the events in the next 4 weeks are probably scheduled. And then 8 weeks, probably most of them are scheduled, maybe 1 or 2 left out. And then 12 weeks, some of them are not scheduled. So the further out you go, the more that they're going to add later. So I haven't done this, I did do 2022 because I was like, what the, and I'm not young, I'm old, and I've voted every single time since I was 18. I think all those words. I think it's my right. I think it's my duty. I think it's my civic duty. It's my civil duty. It's my privilege. I think all those words. I think everybody needs to vote, and they don't. It's like 28% of the country votes, and it's like 30-something% is registered and 20-something vote. And then we all complain about the country. I'm like, that's 70+% people that don't vote. They could put in any other candidate they would want to put in. They could come up with Mickey Mouse or whoever they want and vote that person in, because there's so many numbers that don't vote. Anyway, this isn't about voting. So let me get my things printed on the floor here. Anyway, so I was yeah, sorry, these are a lot of breaks for me. So I did the 2022. I didn't know what mid elections were. That's not what they're called. Midterms. I didn't really understand midterms, and I'm like, I don't know. Okay, so I tried to find out about it, and I was unaware that when there's midterms, every single House of Representative, all 435 of them, are reelected. And I'm like, wow, I thought we were just, we don't vote on the president on those off 2 years. So I was like, well, who do they vote up for? But the entire House of Representatives are voted upon on the off 2 years. Wow, I never knew that. And the Senate was pretty spectacular. I think 35. No, I think it was a little higher, maybe 38. But 35 or 38 of all senators were being voted on that off 2 years. And I'm like, well, okay, that's something to follow. So I tried to do 2022, and I did, but I was also still doing the motorsports and the invisible disabilities, and I was doing all that other stuff with live streaming and on the road. I would go to a NASCAR race and still print up this Ballotpedia every week or every 2 weeks or whenever I needed to get the more current dates. Like there's enough changes that I should probably print it up. So anyway, I did that. And, I kind of have taken a vacation since 2020. I'm like, so anyway, I woke up this morning and I was trying to, this iPhone, I don't use it as a phone. It's a device. So I'm always trying to clean up. I have 100,000 emails that I've never deleted. There's so much extra BS on my phone that I need to always be editing, and I can get really overwhelmed. But anyway, I started working on, my, whatever they're called, alarms, which I have a ton of alarms and notifications. But anyway, I started, and some were about politics. And I'm like, let's find out when the caucus is. So I found out, the caucus is in Iowa. Now, for one of the parties, Iowa's the first, as always. And for one of the parties, it is not. I did not know they finally changed that, because there was the threat of that Iowa screwed up so badly last time that they were going to lose the privilege. And they're like, that will never happen. They'll always have the privilege. And don't quote me on the parties, but I'll guess anyway. Don't quote me. I do believe, don't quote me, but I think the Republican Party, Iowa, is the first. And for Democratic Party, Iowa is not the first. So it's kind of, that's going to be strange that it's not the first for both of them. So anyway, it's February 5th, which is a Monday. I think someone, and that's the official number. You can find that on everywhere. But I think it might be February 6th. It's usually a Tuesday, I think. I don't know. But anyway, it's February 5th, 2024. And that's when it starts. So I was like, oh, shit. And I counted the months and days, and it was 9 months and 10 days. And I'm like, OMG, that's going to disappear before I know it. So I'm like, okay, let's just check, and there were, like, for Ballotpedia, if I printed it up every week, there would always be events. Always. New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve, Thanksgiving, 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day. There is always events, always. And I'm like, oh man, that's going to be crazy. So there was never a 0 week. There would be a 0 week 3 months from now. And by the time we get closer to that, it's filled out with other events. So anyway, I was like, well, hopefully it's the off time. So anyway, I printed it up, and I make decisions based on, I don't like wasting paper and ink, and I want everything printed up, but I can't, if it's going to require 10 pages, I'm not going to print up 10 pages. So I'm going to just print up the first 2. And there's so many criterion that I go into on what I print up and what I don't print up. So I printed up 2 pages worth, and it went to May 20th, which is not very far in my book. I mean, that's 4 weeks. So I'm like, that means there's a bunch of events. So I printed up, and I'm like, okay. I was all jacked up, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do a short and a reel and a TikTok, which I did. I've already done that. I did a short on this. Shorts are 60 seconds long. What are we at now? 30 minutes and 42 seconds, and I haven't shown one thing on the screen yet. So anyway, it's a 60-second thing. I had the bullets. I covered the bullets. But so I did the short, which is the same as the reel, and TikTok's different. That's a new thing. That's a different thing. And then shared it to all the platforms. And Ping Cord, thank you, Sifa. Ping Cord was kicking butt as all. Ping Cord is great. Now I did add something in the Ping Cord for LinkedIn, and it's lame. It just types up my address 2 times a day, and I'm like, I don't want that. So anyway, I have to still figure out LinkedIn and Me6. I do have to figure out Me6. So but anyway, Ping Cord is ecstasy for me. I mean, that is the coolest thing, that it shows all those notifications. So anyway, but I wanted to do a live about it too, because prior to November 12th, when the November 13th, Sunday, when the Idaho 4 crime happened, I was in my own world. I was doing invisible disabilities. I was doing motorsports. I would do politics and stuff. And then, bam, everything was crime sleuthing. I don't say true crime. I say crime sleuthing. And it took over everything, my sleeping patterns and my eating patterns. Everything was about that. And then, I went to Idaho, and, it wore on me a bit. And I came back, and it wore on me a bit. And I was like, okay, maybe I get back to motorsports. So, everybody can get a snippet of me and go, oh, yeah, Joe does motorsports, or Joe does crime sleuthing, or Joe does invisible disabilities. But for 2020, for that entire year, basically, it was all politics. So I'm like, I guess and again, I'm treating this week, for some reason, this week feels different, because I've been going generally in the way of shorts and reels, which I might still be going in that direction. Although yesterday I did 3 lives, and probably today I'm going to do 3 lives. So of different lives. I still have the motorsports scheduled this week. So I'm going to do 3 on Saturday and 3 on Sunday, but I know I'm OCD. It's over. That's why I'm trying to do short ones. I'm trying to do 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, less than an hour as I would like to get it. I've talked way too long without even showing the piece of paper yet. But so anyway, so I just wanted to, that, and I mean, obviously my numbers aren't growing, although this morning I also kicked around all my platforms and looked at, the analytics and the data and stuff. And every platform has its own niche of popularity, and it's not the same stuff. Hashtag This Week in Motorsports is super popular in like 2 of the platforms, and the other 2 are like, why do you send this stuff to us? We don't care about that. So I need to, figure that stuff out, which I still like sending to 8 platforms, because it's, it octuples your work, or your productivity, or whatever. I think it does. So anyway, so let me go over the schedule there. So I called it live. I did that on this because I did a reel. A couple days ago, I started calling my shorts and reels real, because there's not many characters, so I only can use 4, and I did singular, not reels or shorts, but real, because it's 4 letters, shorter than short. And I started doing that about a week or 2, because and I just look at overviews. My 2 YouTube channels and my StreamYard, and I get confused with all of them. But when you look at a summary, you can't tell if it's a live or a reel. And some show the time. So if it's less than a minute, it's of course a reel. And if it's 5 hours long, of course it's a live. But I'm like, not all the lists show that. So I'm like, so anyway, I put the reel in. So anyway, this is the first time I do believe this is the first time ever that I've done a reel and then a live on the exact same topic. So I put reel on the other one, and then I put live on this one. I don't think I'll put live on all my lives. I think I just did it on this one because I did a reel with essentially the exact same title. So anyway, live, and then elections calendar. That's what the hash, the slash, when you go to ballotpedia.org, you go to /elections_calendar, and that's what comes up. And I didn't know what to list, so I listed the first primary, which May 16th, which is essentially pretty soon. That's 20 days from now. May 16th, Kentucky and Pennsylvania are the primaries. So let me bring it on. Let's see here. So I'll try to summarize it quickly, but I don't know how to do anything quickly. And they have that shit at top there. I don't know why that's showing up. So I'm gonna go to full screen layout, so it's a little bigger for you all to read. But I'm going to go off screen. So I'm off screen for you all, but I can still see comments and what you see. But now I'm going to go off screen so I can read it, but I won't see comments or anything. So be good, and I'm going to go over this. So, okay, so this is ballotpedia.org/elections_calendar. And this is what this is where I get all my information. I try to print it up. It's got a bunch. Elections calendar. And I get a little confused about their stuff. It's not real. All this other stuff is a little tricky. The calendar is what I primarily use here. So it says upcoming election dates. And then this, of course, they make more events in the list than actually happen. And so it says, note, an election date on this list may have been scheduled initially, but later canceled due to many reasons, but due to a lack of candidates or a lack of races advancing to a runoff if applicable. So there's a runoff if no one gets over 50%, but if someone got 50% plus a vote, then they wouldn't have a runoff. So that's kind of what they mean. So, anyway, let's I just came back to look at comments and stuff. So, okay, so I'm going to try to go through anyway, I'll see how far I can go. So as you can tell, it has the state, the district, that's a general term, district, the description, and the date. So April 29th is the first one. That's Saturday, I think. Where's my... Okay, I lost everything. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. So April 29th is Saturday. There's 4 events, and they're all in Louisiana. And a lot of this stuff is school. This covers everything. It has school stuff, municipal stuff, city stuff, police, everybody that's elected. So Louisiana, first 4, April 29th, minor. May 2nd, that's a Tuesday. There's 17 events. It's California, Indiana, Massachusetts, Michigan, Nebraska, Ohio, and Wisconsin. For Indiana, Indianapolis has a primary election, and primary is kind of one of those buzzwords that mean it's a little more important. and Indianapolis is kind of special for me. I had thought for a while that I would move there. And then right here, May 4th, which is Thursday, there's only one event, Virginia. And then May 6th, there are 66 events. And they're mostly Texas, and they're mostly school districts. So let me fly down that thing and see if I can find the Texas special election, Texas general election. And then, okay, so May 9th, there's two, California and Delaware. May 16th, which is the first dates that have, what are they called? Statewide primaries. So, you know, of course, for all of May 16th, it's Arizona, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, New Hampshire, New York. Oregon, bunch of Oregon, Pennsylvania, Virginia. Oh, sorry, Virginia is the 20th. So yeah, let's go back up. So here, Kentucky statewide primary, May 16th. That's pretty major. I did open up that page. That's like, you can click on this Kentucky here, the first one, the blue one where my cursor is over here. And that gets confusing because I wanted to go to that event and tell me who's running, and it doesn't. It's like, okay, are you looking for the governor or the lieutenant governor? And I'm like, tell me everybody, you know. So anyway, so I usually find the stuff about these events elsewhere, but you can plot through it. So anyway, that's the first major event that I might do something with. I'm originally from Kentucky, born and raised, so I might do that May 16th. There's five. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 statewide primaries before November 7th, which is the general election date. So Kentucky is May 16th. Like I said, there's 6. So that's not many states. Seems like they would all have it. And then here's Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania statewide primary, May 16th. So and then here, May 20th, 2 events, Virginia. May 27th, 1 event, Virginia. May 30th, 2 events, Massachusetts. I'm pretty close to Massachusetts. Some of the people I know and like in life are from there, so I might cover that, but I doubt it. June 3rd, there's 1 event. June 3rd, 1 event, Virginia. June 6th, 2 events, but one of them is New Jersey statewide primary. So that's the 3rd primary before November 7th. June 13th, one event, Maine. One of my viewers is from Maine, so I might look at that. June 15th, Tennessee, 2. June 19th, 1, North Dakota. June 20th might be the next one. Let me go back to comments in case I've missed anyone. Nope. Okay, so cool. I'm just checking in with y'all. Okay, so June 20th, there's 4 events, I think is what that says. I don't have them. I didn't print up this far. I only printed up 2 pages worth, which went to May 6th. So now I don't know how many. I have to count them on the fly. So June 20th, there's 4 events, Georgia, Missouri, and Virginia. Virginia is a statewide primary. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's the 4th of 6, June 20th. And June 27th is a whole bunch. 3, 6, 9, 10. 10 events. California, Colorado, and a bunch of New Yorks. There's a general election for California, but that's Los Angeles, so that wouldn't be. I usually look at statewide primaries is the way I can focus a little better. So August 1st, Washington as a statewide primary. And that's the 5th. So we're getting close to the last of them before. August 3rd, there's 3 Tennessees. August 8th, there's 2 Michigan and Minnesota. Michigan and Mississippi. August 22nd, Alabama. August 29th, Mississippi. And just beware if you live in any of these states or you have an interest in any of these states, this is more events than reality. It's not less events than reality. It's more events than reality. So don't go, golly, I didn't know I was supposed to vote on that day. It may not exist because you didn't have enough candidates or whatever reason. So it's overkill instead of otherwise. August 29th, Mississippi. September 12th, there's a bunch. Did I miss August 8th? Let me go back. I don't think I mentioned August 8th. August 8th, 2 of them. Now, Michigan's a primary election, but that's just for Lansing. So the Mississippi is a Mississippi statewide primary. That is the last of the 6 statewide primaries between now, between May 16th and November 7th. And I don't think we'll get this November 7th, but let's look. How far did I? Okay, so September 12th, there's a lot here. I don't know what it is. 4 September 12th, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Montana, North Carolina. September 14th, Tennessee. September 19th, New Hampshire. October 3rd, 2, Alaska, Alabama. I hope it gets to November. There's November 7th. So October 5th, 1, Tennessee. October 10th, 2, North Carolina. October 14th, Louisiana, 1. And then the rest are, not the rest, but the next chunk is November 7th. And on that, there are 5 currently listed. I'm not sure, but I think all 50 states will be listed. But currently right now, for November 7th, 5 states are listed: Colorado, Maine, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Washington. So that's kind of covering everything in a nutshell. I'm going to get back up to the top and then maybe summarize some of that stuff. So anyway, I know that stuff can be boring and stuff. And let's see, exit full-time layout. Hello, I'm back. So that's kind of the primary thing I was going to do. So I'm going to just summarize. So the statewide primaries, there's 6 between now, or May 16th, and November 7th, or August 8th. So between May 16th and August 8th, there's 6. May 16th is Kentucky and Pennsylvania. June 6th is New Jersey. June 20th, Virginia. August 1st, Washington. August 5th, Mississippi. And then 5 general elections on November 7th. Colorado, Maine, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Washington. There's a repeat. Pennsylvania and Washington are listed twice, which is the most common. They usually all have primaries, and they usually all have general elections. So I think some of the schedule's not put together. I mean, a lot of it, I think. But I don't know. I'm just guessing from my... So anyway, I think the main first event for me will be the Kentucky and in the description there, May 16th, Kentucky and Pennsylvania primaries, and then these next. I mean, I tend to, be especially attentive to states that I care about, that I live in or used to live in or have a loved one in or that kind of stuff. But I've moved a lot and lived in a lot of places, so that can bog me down also. But but anyway, I'll probably look at all those the same. So May 16th will probably be some streaming about politics. June 6th or thereabouts, maybe a couple of days before. June 6th, same thing. June 20th. So these are kind of spread out. They're not going to take over my motorsport streams or my crime sleuthing streams even. But so that's it. Anything could happen at any moment, but I don't think it's going to overtake my life. So anyway, 48 minutes. I went too long. I hope everybody's doing fine. Steph, I hope you are doing okay. And I am always thinking about you. You can get in touch with me anytime at all. I hate the phone, but a B survivor knows that she can call me on my phone anytime. And I want you to know you can call me on my phone. I hate the phone, but you can call me anytime. That's how much, but yeah, anytime, whatever time of day and any day and whatever. I don't know what I can do, but if you ever think of stuff you need or want or whatever, just let me know. And Tracy, I appreciate you being here and stuff. So anyway, I want to, let's go to, let's see here. Are these timers? These are timers. Select all. Copy. You're welcome. Anytime, whatever you need. I mean, again, I don't know what I can do. I mean, there's so many of those situations that there's no one can do anything. Tracy, thanks, Joe. I was afraid to comment because I can't be apolitical. I don't want to. I would like if all my viewers would feel comfortable enough to comment at any time about any topic, even not the topic about what I'm covering. And I know politics has been really divisive and it's been so extreme and so much stuff out there. But I mean, probably talking to me for 5 minutes, you can guess where I sit or where I vote. But I really try to be apolitical. But because I can't be apolitical. Yeah, I don't know, Trace. The first statement I said is kind of the bottom line. I wish all my viewers would feel comfortable enough to comment about any topic. I mean, I'm not gonna, I don't like when people bash. I mean, I think we can report facts, but I mean, that gets into a problem too, because everybody has their own, version of facts, which is weird because it used to be facts are facts, but now that's not really true, that facts aren't facts anymore. But, yeah, golly, I don't know, Tracer. We can certainly do panels, and I mean, I don't know. So you're in California. Yeah, it's pretty volatile here in CA. And I usually know Canada. I mean, California is CA, but also Canada's. So, and it's volatile everywhere. I mean, I live in Vermont and, everybody knows which way that state leans, but, there's stuff everywhere. So, but anyway, I don't want to say if you can give me an indicator that you're Republican, then yes, you can share. But if you're Democrat, you can't share. I don't want to, and that was just an example, of course, but I don't want to get into that. I mean, I've been on YouTube Live since, November, and I didn't even think about politics for months on YouTube Live. And people did gravitate toward me that were not my way of thinking. And it was kind of strange. I was like, wow, how did y'all? I was like, wow, okay. And, they would say, a couple of them would say, I can't talk because I get so, and I get that. I get passionate. I get volatile. I get, but anyway, I'm talking too much about it. I really just don't want bashing, and just be careful about facts. I know that's absurd that we even have a conversation of it's too bad everybody has their own set of facts, but it really is true. I mean, it really is true. There's a TV network channel that says they're completely right and the other one's wrong, and the other one says they're completely right and the other one's wrong. Now there seems to be neutral opinions that are saying that maybe they were lying. There was a court case recently that says, a couple of them may have been lying about what they were saying. So, but just I don't know. If I ever get out to California, I'd love to interview and we can do a live stream and we can talk about it. And my brother used to live in California. He's in Alaska now. I got married in California, but I didn't live there at the time. I wanted to go to, I'm not married anymore, but yes, it's nice to hear both sides to me. Yeah. And I'm, but again, I don't want to say there's an absolute rule because I do tire quickly of some things. I don't want bashing. I don't want lying. You know, and I don't want to make examples, but you brought it up, so I guess I'm going to make examples. Like January 6th, I think there's really only one way to perceive what happened on January 6th. So if anybody ever came on and wanted to talk about how it was different than that, I mean, it depends how forceful they are, but I would probably almost immediately shut that down. I would say, you can write me an email and you can get on my panel, but we're not going to discuss that right now. So, and that's just an example. I don't know. It is very volatile. It is very, and I'm in Vermont. You're in California. Our two states have a lot in common. Anyway, I hope that answers it a little bit. I didn't really say much, but let me see. To Sifa and his crew. Can you hear that? Can you hear my keyboard? Sorry, I hope you don't. I'm going to type tracer. Sorry. I know you've already said that's okay, but so I copied it, and now I'm going to proofread it. But I think it says, thanks to Sifa and his crew, Tracer, and everyone. I really appreciate all your time and support. See you soon, JoeHart. And I was getting close to saying goodbye. So that's why I'm Nightbot said it, but I try to update it. Anyway, whatever. Did you see let me just scroll back. Did you see any California event that you were aware of? Did you? Let me see. So California, and please don't tell me where you live specifically. Certainly not street addresses or even cities or towns or counties. But anyway, these are listed. So anyway, May 2nd, there's 4 school districts that are, Millbrae, Pasadena, San Lucas, Union, and South Pasadena. Anyway, I don't know if you've noticed any of the California. That's mostly all Texas. I think I can scroll through it pretty quickly. I think it's all Texas. I think it's every school district in Texas. California, Sierra Madre general election. Oop, I don't think that was California. California, Los Angeles City Council, District 6, general election. California, a whole bunch. Oh, we're already to November 7th. So yeah, those are like 2 special elections in California. So anyway, I don't know if not everybody needs to use so it's pretty volatile over here in California. And it's also going to ramp up. I mean, I think I started in the stream saying that, 2020 was unique and I was really jacked up and I had to find out what was going on. And I was on the road. And I really did try to ask those questions neutrally. I think my opinion kind of is near my surface level, but I try to be as neutral as I can. But, in 2020, the 3 bullets I asked when I was on the road, which I'll probably do in 2024 when I'm on the road with updated, but it was what happened in 2016, how did it happen, and is it going to happen again? So I guess I never stated it for 2020, but I guess what happened in 2020, how did it happen, and is it going to be reversed? Maybe that would be the 3 questions. And I guess that gives you a little indicator. But anyway, no, I haven't paid much attention. Those places are not near me. I know California is huge. I was just scared. Thank you for responding. Yeah, I was just, there's so many states and we don't know where everybody is and stuff. So, anyway, I think I'm going to start finishing here. I am now taking a lot longer time to do a lot of things. What do we got? One person on Twitch. Hello, Twitch. Thanks for being there. Hey, Twitch. You want to make a comment? Anyway, I want to shout out to my streams that I stream to. I'm live streaming on my laptop right here on StreamYard. And one of the features, if you get the professional plan, is you can stream to 8 destinations, what they call, but they're platforms. So I stream also at the same time to Facebook profile, Facebook page. I'm still learning the differences there. LinkedIn profile, YouTube, my primary, JoeHart PwD 8641, and then my backup, Francis Assistant with letters after it, and then Twitch, and then 2 Twitters. I love Twitter. That's where the majority of my traffic is. And I think that's going to be the reason that I would probably stop using StreamYard, because you can't communicate. Twitter can't send comments live and they can't receive comments live. And it's not a fun thing. I wish they could do something else. So anyway, I just wanted to mention all of them. Now, because of the stuff I've been doing recently, my time at the end of these streams is a lot longer now. So I'm going to end, like usual, I'm going to hit the end broadcast button twice. And I am going to do the same thing of going to my 8 destinations to see. I'm going to check into all 8 destinations and then come back. And during that time, you can still make comments. And then at the end of that, I'll hit leave studio. Now, that used to be 2 to 5 to 7 minutes, but now it's probably going to be 5 to 7 to 12 minutes. So it's going to be longer time. See how they overlapped. I don't know how long it's going to be. It's going to be as long as it takes. So anyway, mostly checking on comments and seeing if things come through and all that stuff. So anyway, thank you. I probably won't do much or anything until closer to May 16th. Kentucky, I used to live in. Pennsylvania is pretty close. I went to Pennsylvania for Idaho 4. And I've been to Pennsylvania a lot for motorsports. So I will probably do that. Either be on the road for Pennsylvania and cover Kentucky remotely, or cover both of them remotely. So anyway, that's the next event. So it won't be anytime soon. What is that for? That's 20 days from now. So, about 3 weeks before I do another political thing. But yeah, I mean, I'm open, Tracer, I would be open to, lots of things, if you wanted to do a panel about other topics or, what. And I know there are a ton of people that say exactly what you said, is I can't address the comment because I get really passionate about it. That's not exactly what you said. I don't, that's where my memory suffers. I can't quote what you said. I have to go up to it and highlight it and reread it again. So, anyway, so I'm, all that stuff is available and possible. And now I don't have a huge following and I'm not growing with virals. So maybe I don't do it the right way. Maybe I talk about politics too much. Maybe my opinion oozes through too much. I don't know what it is, but anyway, that's what I wanted to cover. Thank you for everybody being here. I don't really have a schedule yet. I mean, I already have 5 or 6 things scheduled for this weekend to live stream, but my next live stream, I don't know specifically what it is, but it seems like I'm on the path of doing 2 or 3 things a day, and just, I think of it, I organize it, or outline it, and then I go do it. So I would imagine I'll be doing a stream within 2 or 3 hours, but I don't know the topic and I have to get organized and all that stuff. So Okay, so thank you, Sifa. Thank you, Tracy. Feel free to join my Discord. I think I updated all my links, so it's Discord that never expires. I don't know if that was a good move or not, but Tracy and Sifa and everybody, you all are welcome to join my Discord. It's small and intimate. It's kind of like this stream that has a lot of Nightbots. That has a lot of ping cords. So it has to, it's still intimate. So it has to grow and then grow into those ping cords. But I get a lot of notifications. I have to. I do this stuff by myself, and that's the way I get help, is through Nightbot and ping cord and hopefully May16 someday. So anyway, okay. Tracer, take care. Like I said, after I hit the 2 end broadcast, you can make comments in case I say something and then I stop it. Oh, you're welcome, Trace. Thanks for being here. That's the key. I really appreciate you being here. But again, thank you to the Twitchers and the YouTubers and everybody else. So thank you so much. Okay, so I'm going to hit end broadcast in 3, 2, 1, and then I have to do it again. But it ends right when I hit it, even though it doesn't look like it. So I have to start saying goodbye before I get there. So I'm going to hit end broadcast in 3, 2, 1.